Everything that they did to me when I was in the military to like beat my ass, even in survival school, I would shake those guys' hands. Like, I mean, they used to beat us when we were in survival school, but it was for a reason. And it feels like when I read about some of these boarding schools, it was just like some people who got their rocks off from watching children suffer, and then they decided to make a school about it.
From the time I was like 13 all the way up until 15, I was like in like I guess you would call it like a place for bad girls.
Okay. Go ahead. How did you end up there?
When I was 13, like I had just started the 8th grade.
Okay.
And I like had snuck out a couple times, and then like it was just the decision for me to go there by my family. So, and then I went, and I was like in Utah. And so I actually, like, I was in one of the same places that, like, Paris Hilton, like, that she went to in Utah. So.
Like a boarding school?
Well, no, not exactly. So the first one was, like, a wilderness program. And it was, like, we would just hike, like, 13 miles a day. Like, well, because initially when I went there, I had asthma when I first got there. So I was complaining. And the camp counselor said that because I complained, they actually transferred me to a harder camp. And at the harder camp was hiking 13 miles a day at the time.
Wow.
And so I was 13 turning 14. So like like once a week they would come and like drop off our rations for that week. So we would get like cheese, salami, lentils, like basically like a fixed meal that we had to survive on. And then we had to prove ourselves and actually make like 25 fires in order to graduate.
So this is like a survival program.
It was the outdoor wilderness program that like I lived outside for 4 months.
Wow. In Utah? You were growing up in Northern California?
I got out because I actually had 3rd-degree burns.
Oh, what?
So I had hiked so much that I had lost all this weight. And then I like looked in the mirror and I was like completely different. I had like dreads in my hair, and then like I basically like cut my hair, and then they sent me to like a whole new school. So the next school I was at was a boarding school, an all girls boarding school.
So you're not splitting time. You're just away from your family the whole time at this point.
Yeah.
What was the thing that you just staying out late? That was the thing that caused your parents to send you this?
I was caught like a couple of times. I had friends down the street that we were all like these super cool like skateboarders. And I would hang out at the skate park, and I thought it was like the coolest thing at the time. So I was just like immersed in like having like all these friends that skated, and we would hang out. And like, so my parents got really like worried about me because I was like, you know, just wanted to hang out with Ryan Sheckler like every day. And they were like, you know, I was just very like, I don't know, I guess expressive from the time I was like young. And I'm just kind of like crazy, like a free spirit. So like, I think they recognized that, and it kind of scared them a little bit. They were like, okay, well, we need to be able to like teach her to like be stronger. And it did. I mean, it took away some things, and then it also added some things, if you know what I mean.
Do you think it affected you like later on growing up?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely tilted the path that I went down.
Them trying to force control on you, maybe you wanted to have less people control you?
Yeah, because I'm just like, I just want to be a rock star.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't let like outside forces like try to like influence my life, because like I only get to live once. Like we're only here once. So like, why would I guess, you know, not give myself a full chance to live like the life that I want. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if I wanted like to like go live in another country or something.
You have the options to do anything.
Yeah, because like I would like to actually experience different things. I don't know. I'm a girl from California.
I think you and Tucci could run for mayor here and you'd win. For sure.
Yeah.
100%. So you're doing that. So at some point, was there drugs or alcohol involved? It was just the fact you staying
No.
out. So because I have a friend of mine, they sent him to this boarding
I
school.
was like 13. So
Yeah.
like I was still a virgin and I had never done drugs.
I had a buddy of mine. He did an interview here. He started his own show, and the thing that changed his life is he smoked weed, and his parents sent him to this horrible boarding school for it. And he looks back on it now, and he's like, it was just weed. Like it was crazy, and it changed his whole view of the world because like them trying, like when he looks back on it, he doesn't look back on it with gratitude. He looks back on it like you were just trying to control me.
What's his name?
His name's TC Fleming.
And which one did he go to?
The
one in Mexico?
No, it's in Texas. It's called Excel in Texas.
Was it all boys?
Yeah, and it's gone now. It's been shut down. In
Okay,
fact, somebody's
so
going to do a documentary about it.
Yeah. Very similar situation to mine. The one that I went to in Julian, actually, they shut that down as well. So it was like somebody had come back and actually started a fire there.
Yeah.
Because there was a very tragic accident with a girl that she had given birth but didn't tell anybody.
Wow.
So it was the very traumatic thing that happened there.
So no one knew she was pregnant.
So no one knew that she was pregnant, and she was an employee of the actual place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I almost feel bad speaking on it. So, because it was just like a very, I guess, traumatic situation.
Yeah.
And so then like I guess someone burned it to the ground after that. And so then they were doing a fundraiser, like to actually build it back, but then it just never was built back.
Yeah, whenever I see those type of schools, they always seem to be met with such derision by the people who left, right? When I was in the US military, when I think about those times, I love those guys.
Yeah.
I loved everything that they did to me when I was in the military to like beat my ass. Even in survival school, I would shake those guys' hand. Like, I mean, they used to beat us when we were in survival school. But it was for a reason. And it feels like when I read about some of these boarding schools, it was just like some people who got their rocks off from watching children suffer, and then they decided to make a school about it.
Right.
That's just what it feels like to me. I'm not saying, I'm sure every boarding school isn't like that, but it seems to be like that seems to be very common.
It was
and they seem to be very unregulated as well.
Dependent on the situation I was in. So at the time, like I think what was so traumatic is that I went from one to the other one. So like I did the one in Utah, and then I think what happened was that I just going straight from there to the one that was in Julian, like outside of San Diego, was the most traumatic, like just too much, like back to back like that.